I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Andrew. I'm the chair of the board of directors. Unfortunately, I have not met so many of you. I'm going to blame the pandemic for that. I joined in September of 2020. Thanks for that, Jen. Jen was one that brought me into the organization. And then last year, we were going to have our AGM in this very room. And then another wave of the pandemic hit. So here we are, and I'm so glad to see you all. I'm so glad that we were able to join this meeting in person. We're going to start things off with a land acknowledgement from our executive director, and I'm sure she has met most of you. And Molly Mixup, please go ahead.
Hi, Molly. Hey, Molly. Hi, Laura. Hi, Paula. Thanks. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to sit. I have just a little bit of a cold, so I'm not going to stand up tonight. Bear with me. I think I can make it through. Thank you for being here. 630 Dundas and London, and where we live and ride bikes is on Indigenous land. The place we call London is traditional territory of the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee, and the Lunapayak at the forks of the Deshkanzibi, which is Anishinaabe-Moan, meaning Antler River. This area is subject to the Dish with One Spoon wampum and other treaties. We give thanks and appreciation to the First Peoples who have always cared for and respected this land and who continue to do so. May we learn from their example. We honor the enduring presence of all First Nations in this area, as well as across Turtle Island, and we recognize the three First Nation communities downstream: Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and Munsee Delaware Nation. Thank you. To kind of get us started, I am excited to introduce someone. The board had some lengthy discussion this year about wanting to recognize some of our past directors, to have a bridge between past and incoming board members. So we came up with the idea of having an alumni director each year, someone to ground incoming board members and the rest of us in some organizational history and to welcome people into the fold. 2023 is also London Cycle Link's 10-year anniversary. So I am delighted to introduce our inaugural alumni director to say a few words about London Cycle Link's early years and to celebrate how far we've come. Ladies and germs, I give you past board member and longtime London Cycle Link and Squeaky Wheel Bike Co-op volunteer, Dave Mitchell.
Stand, I guess.
It's a very short.
Oh, it is a very short.
It's long enough. Just pull. It's long. It's longer.
That's good enough. I thought it was very apt to position myself at the back of the pack. I've been involved in a lot of organizations over a number of years, and this one has always kept calling me back. But one of the things I've seen really strong in London Cycle Link and spun off from that in Squeaky Wheel is a resilience that a lot of grassroots organizations kind of burn themselves out. They get a lot of people that are gung ho, and they take the positions, forming boards and whatnot, and kind of burn themselves out, and then they kind of dwindle off, and can't sustain themselves. And to see 10 freaking years later that this has really taken root is incredible. So I can't help but think of the concept of the peloton in Cyclists, and where that leader will fade back to the pack at the rear and guess take a breather for a bit and regroup, but still kind of want to keep riding with the pack. And I'm kind of thinking this role that you've introduced is kind of the embodiment of that. I've stepped away for a few years just because of other things going on, but I've always wanted to come back and kind of in a a Godfather kind of way. They keep pulling you back, and I couldn't be happier, really, because it's such an exciting and dynamic group to be a part of. So many faces I've seen for so long, and new ones, and yet the passion's all the same, and the diversity is such an incredible element of this group. So I'm also excited to see the last AGM was just before the pandemic, and it was exciting to see how different that was from our cobbled together meetings in someone's stuffy apartment, in the middle of summer, or a table at oh shoot, I'm trying to remember the name. Lifespin, where someone pokes their head in the window and says, "Hey, is this the bicycle group meeting?" And next thing you know, they're on the board, and you're spending every free moment with them. To a packed house where there's structure and direction that really gives you an idea of what we've accomplished, but what we can accomplish going forward. So I don't know if a lot more I want to say other than can't wait to see what happens next. Another 10 years.
Thank you, Dave. It's always good to remember your past as you go into the future, and I feel the same way as you do. But it's so great to see an organization that hasn't burned out, that is flourishing after a decade. Before we move on to the next item, I just want to have just talk about a few housekeeping items. When you came in, you would have seen a sign-up sheet. If you haven't signed up, signed in to the meeting, please do at some point during the evening so that we can have a record that you were here. There's also hard copies of everything that we're going to be voting on today on that table, because I don't want anybody voting blind for anything. There's been links to things sent to you, but if you wanted to see a hard copy of something, it's at the table there as well. We have one regret. Corinne Marshall was not able to make it today. She's one of our board members. She has come down with an illness, but she wishes she could be here. And also the voting process. We're going to do show of hands to vote for anything that we vote on today, not secret ballot or anything like that. And as I said, this is my first in-person AGM. I have not been with the organization as long as many of you. If I do something wrong up here in terms of running this meeting, please let me know, because I have nothing to base my experience on. Let me know if there's a way that we should do it other than the way that we're doing it. Okay, so the next thing we have to do, also the agenda is at the back there if somebody wants the roadmap of how we're doing things tonight. So
you're doing great, bud.
How did this past year go, Molly? Would you like to review this year for us?
Thanks, Andrew. I would like to review this year. I also made this annual report, which there are a few copies of at the back. I'm a little bit proud of myself. So feel free to enjoy it. It will be posted online as well.
I got it.
You got it?
Shit.
You're going to change the things?
Change
Oh my God, wow. I won't go through all of it because various things are going to be covered by other people at other points in the evening. I will go through some of the highlights of the year in terms of events, the membership, and our advocacy a little bit, and the Ride to Thrive program. So this was a big year. We did a lot. We got to be in person again, which was a lot of energy for a bunch of people who haven't been out in the world doing things. So we were able to finally put on the bike rodeo that we'd planned the previous summer and was postponed twice. So we did that at our old location, Squeaky Wheel. in OEV. That was super fun. Bike Month happened for the first time in a few years. We got a team together for the Forest City Cycling Challenge, which was terrific. We had a webinar in Bike Month with the London Environmental Network. We had lots of volunteers that we coordinated to get out for pedal pole to do the National Bike Count, second year running. No results yet. Gathering on the Green. We had an urban egg garden bike tour that we did, an urban cycling 101 workshop with Reimagine Co. So that's all with Bike Month. Bike to Campus Day happened for the second time, coordinating together with Sustainability Western and Fanshawe and getting them to work together, which was super cool. Glow Ride is always really popular. Go to the events slide.
Okay.
Go, 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 go. There. That's the Glow Ride at the bottom. We had some summer rides, and we supported the Fancy Women Bike Ride, which was also great, and connected with a whole group of Turkish cyclists through that, which was really neat too. We also brought on a membership coordinator for the first time. Rain, you probably all met when you were coming in. It's been wonderful to have Rain on board and really bigging up our membership, what it means, and being able to support members. So that's going to continue, and it feels really good to have that more in place. We're also working on relaunching our bike-friendly business program as more of a business membership. So again, to increase membership. The advocacy committee met monthly, continues to meet monthly. We work together with the Urban 360 Lab at Fanshawe to do the first stage of what we hope to be a comprehensive full city bike parking map. So we're laying out all the bike parking facilities, the proper, safe and secure bike parking facilities, which will have photos attached that you can see. You can look on an app when you're going somewhere. So that's going to be a few years to get all done, but it was really exciting to start that project last summer. Lots of other various provincial election stuff. Spoke on the Climate Emergency Action Plan. And then the municipal election ride-along campaign was pretty huge for us, which I think we'll talk a little bit more about later, but I will point out Laura Wall and Janet McAllister, who chaired that, and also Ben at the back here, who did so much work on those videos. I was going to say, too, we had our first super viral video this year, which was actually meant to be part of Ride to Campus Day, the video that Ben made, which I got to help with on putting your bike on an LTC bus, which were over 25 million views now. And it's actually been really cool to see people from all over the world talking about their bike bus systems. So thanks, Ben. Pretty cool. And then Ride to Thrive, our education program, also had a huge year. So this is our second year in operation with Ride to Thrive. Nate Frisbee is at the back, our educational program coordinator, has been on task with this program since the beginning, and Jen Gilbert, who initiated the whole thing. Thank you, Jen. And our team of instructors, many, if not all of whom are here, Paula, Laura, Vince, Gary, Ken, Rebecca, who am I missing? Anyway, have been tremendous. Julie, have been really tremendous. So we, though still very young, were able to pilot project in the TVDSB in grade 5 and 6 classrooms this year. So in June, we did 4 classrooms in 2 different schools. And then in October, again, another two schools and 4 classrooms. So that's been huge. We also worked with the Bell program through Beal. It's the Beal English Language Learners program. So these are newcomer high school students. And we had an amazing project working with them, getting 13 students brand new bikes with helmets, locks, and everything, and teaching them basic mechanic skills. And some of them needed no help to ride a bike, but others were riding bikes for the first time. So that was a really meaningful project for us. So huge things. It's been a big year. It's not been an easy year. It's been a whole lot of work, and we've been tired. But we did it, and I really want to thank everyone for contributing, which is probably most of you here. So thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Before we go any further, when I said I want you guys to call me out if I screw up, please, I want you to do that, because I already have done so. So I forgot that we need to approve the minutes from last year's meeting. It counts. It was only online, but it was an annual general meeting. So that's why there are a few copies printed at the back. If you don't feel comfortable voting for something you can't remember happening, you can go take a look at that. Is there anyone that needs to do that? Okay, can I have a motion to approve last year's minutes for the AGM? Luis? And again, I don't know all of your names again, so maybe when you put your hand up, if you could just say who you are for the for this year's minutes. Seconded, I'm sorry, oh, Paul. Paul is seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, the motion carried for the minutes for last year's meeting. Thank you. So, what happened to Squeaky Wheel this year, Jensen? Sorry, I should have given you more of a time to walk.
The staff members were talking amongst themselves.
All right,
Should I stand? Should I sit? Should I kneel?
Dance, maybe.
You don't want me to dance. Okay, so
do you want the way? Here's Jensen to tell us how Squeaky Wheel went.
okay. When I was told that I needed to have a review, someone mentioned that I need to put together 362 words. So I did. They're actually in the report, but they've been edited somewhat. So this is the unabridged version. Squeaky Wheel saw big changes in 2022. Hired in mid-April, I trained for some days with Wyatt Pate, the outgoing shop manager. I had been a volunteer mechanic from 2017 to 2020 and looked forward to reconnecting with everyone. Spring and summer was busy with people fixing bikes, receiving donations, and preparing to relocate to the Indwell Embassy Commons building. You'll have to excuse me, I'm a little hungry. Okay, so in mid-June, Nate Frisbee, the LCL Education Program Coordinator, worked with the Beale Secondary Bell Program for newcomers. We prepared bikes for those students, some who had never ridden before. In late June, Jude Dealman was rehired as a summer student, giving the co-op needed capacity when the shop is extra busy. Delayed from early spring, the September relocation went well with lots of help. The new space has big windows and modern amenities. People often say how much more welcoming it feels. Still, some things remain unfinished, like the exterior signage, even though the building is complete enough for other tenants moving in. Access is better as the City of London built a new bike lane on English, connecting the popular Dundas bike lane with the recently configured one on Queens. Expect a higher profile as the building has been reported on by media a few times. Certainly more and more longtime residents are discovering us when they wouldn't have otherwise. Outside of regular hours are some volunteer-led programs. Volunteer Night continues to grow with many Tuesday nights attended by at least half a dozen. Special nod to Laura, Felix, and Trevor, who have taken it and made it their own. And don't forget John, Dave, and now Ajit, who volunteer during weekday hours at least one day a week. With a renewed commitment from Emily to provide mechanical skills, WTF Women Trans Femme has transitioned from Wednesday evening to Sunday afternoon in hopes of welcoming more women, trans, and queer participants. Largely due to Trevor, we had our winter cycling discussion in mid-December, the first workshop at the co-op since pre-pandemic times. We expect more good things for the co-op in 2023, including programming with Indwell, more workshops, and hopes for increased hours. In closing.
Jensen is now taking questions. Does anyone have any questions for Jensen?
I won't put a limit.
I just want to highlight that there's a workshop. There's a survey from what workshops people want to do at the table, near the sign-in table. So if there's a workshop you want to,
If any of you have any workshop topics that you're interested in, there is a sign-up sheet at the back, just on the other side of the staff table there, that where you can put them down, put your thoughts down for us. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, moving on to the numbers. We have our relatively new board member, Michael Woodward, the treasurer, who will go over the financial review with us now.
do you have something else, Michael, or just
No, that's fine, honestly.
All right, so hi everyone. My name's Mike Woodward. I'm a CPA working as an external auditor right now, and I'm super happy to be here as part of LCL. So everyone's favorite topic, the numbers. Yeah, I know, everyone looks thrilled. I'll keep this short and sweet, but definitely a tougher year for us financially. From our profit and loss statement, we did have a pretty significant loss in comparison to years past. A lot of this was driven by increased payroll costs, and part of this was a little bit of overlap with our staffing in certain roles, as well as some inflationary concerns and just overall decrease in business after the COVID boom. But on the other hand, we do have a really good opportunity to grow our business through our memberships, through our new location, as well as we have a lot of other fund generating activities. Highlights of the year, we definitely had a higher grant revenue than we have in the past, which is really exciting to see. And I know Molly's been working really hard with every grant she can find. So it's really good to see. And then maybe one other thing to point out to you, that if you looked at the financial statements, I know everyone loves doing that, the cash balance does seem low on our September year end, and that was mainly due to timing differences. So we had a lot of cash come in October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So we are in actually a very strong cash position as well. So don't look at that and feel like we're struggling here. We're definitely not. I'm happy if anyone has any revenue generating ideas, any ideas that they can bring to me. I also ask of you as our members, if you see someone who you think would love to be a member here, bring them out, bring them to the shop, do everything you can, because I think we do have a really good opportunity here to grow LCL as a whole. I'll take questions. Yeah.
Kevin George, St. Aidan's. We're new here. How much is a membership for individuals, and is there a business membership, and what does it cost?
Yep. So we have 3 tiers of membership. So we have our $40 individual membership per year, and then $100 sustaining, and then there's the lifetime membership as well, which helped me out with that one. $1,000 plus.
$20 for students.
Right, and the $20 for students. We are working on a bike-friendly business program as well, where we have a tiered membership. Rain's also been working really hard on that. And if you do have any businesses that you do think that would be interested, I think it's a great way to, for them to market themselves, as well as for us to, bring some businesses towards us and, work together as a team.
We haven't solidified the prices on the business membership yet. Keep in touch, though.
Yeah, Mike would love to talk to you more about numbers during the social hour. Just throw ideas at him. But before we let him go, we do need to discuss the auditor for this year.
Sorry. Yeah, so we're looking to make a change in our auditor from Innes and Associates to Lermont Dernelly. Gary Dernelly's worked with our bookkeeper Justine, and we'd be really happy to have him doing a review. Part of this change is just we've seen a couple differences, and we're not as much of the priority with Innes and Associates as maybe we'd like to be. So we're just looking to make a change there is the main reason.
And this is another voting voting item, so maybe you want to rethink not asking Mike a question about the new auditor before we vote. Anybody? Okay.
So how do we pick the new auditor?
So me and Justine actually did a little bit of research. We're kind of in a tough position because, like everything in this world, an audit has gone up significantly. So Justine's worked with Gary quite a few times with different organizations, and he's agreed to keep our initial fee of $2,000 as with Innocent Associates. So that was a big selling point for us as well.
I think we should also point out that the previous treasurer, Greg, also felt that maybe we should move on from our current situation. So Mike agrees with, we have two treasurers that agree that this is a good idea. I'm not trying to convince you of how to vote, but this is what the people are telling me. So would someone make a motion, please, to, unless there's any other question, any questions or no? Okay.
What are we talking about?
What does the auditor do, you mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
I have no
For sure, yeah. So essentially what our auditor does is just review our finances every year to make sure that we're being honest and that things actually make sense. So I can't just throw up any number I want there and say we have a whole bunch of revenue when we don't. A very layman's term way of thinking about it is, you know, that person at Costco that checks the receipt? They're checking our receipts to make sure we're being honest on what we're putting on our financial statements.
Okay.
So legally, we are required to have an audit prepared each year at the end of our fiscal year, and we need someone outside of our organization to do that. So we have to hire someone, and the membership has to approve that person. So that is what we're doing. We're hoping to approve a new person to do the financial audit next year.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes.
If you're looking for someone to move the motion, I'll make that motion that we change auditors from Innis to...
Laremont, Durnelly, there we go.
Okay, thank you. Seconder, please. Thank you. Sorry. Peter Cuddy.
Okay, and so
Paula?
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. All opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you. The motion carries. We have a new auditor. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. So now we're done with the numbers. Now we're talking legalese. And I trust Michael and Annie to make both of these things so interesting that nobody else could do it like these guys. Annie, please proceed with our next agenda item.
Yeah, I hope your eyes aren't glazed over enough because I'll do that for you. But we're talking about amendments to our bylaws here. I'm a lawyer, so I took a look at these and I had a few additions to our final proposed bylaws.
Is it showing up there, or is it?
It's not showing up here. If any of you haven't had a chance to take a look at them, they're hyperlinked in the notices that got sent around, but there's also a few copies at the back there if anyone wants to take a look. In particular, I draw your attention to the last page. If I can scroll. Oh, you got it. Thank you. One more page down, I think. Yeah. So this is basically an overview of the amendments that we're proposing over what we've had previously. And I would say that there's three themes to these amendments. The first theme is clarity. There are a few pieces that when we as a board were reviewing these minutes or these bylaws, we thought that they could use some clarity in terms of definitions, flow, and how it overall formatted. So there are a few pieces you'll see, like updates to the version number system, adding definitions, things like to checks, we've added the ability to include electronic transfers so we can send e-transfers, things like that add clarity to our bylaws that allow us to do more things. The second piece of the theme would be compliance. There are a few items that we are have always done, but that it's good to have in our bylaws to ensure we are continuing to comply with those things. So one piece I draw your attention to there is we've added in a clause that we're required to get insurance. We've always had insurance, so don't worry about that. But it's basically now it's in our bylaws so that we can point to that, and our board and our membership can always be content knowing that we are meeting that obligation. The other piece of that I would point to is there are a few mentions to statutory requirements, things that weren't in our bylaws that are a requirement of the Canada Not-for-Profits Act. And so those are now a part of our bylaws to ensure that we have written down, not just in that statute, but for ourselves to know that we have to comply with that. And the final piece of the themes of our amendments was inclusion. There are a few pieces of our bylaws that we felt were not very inclusive language, things like using his and her wording instead of more inclusive language. We've updated that wherever we can to make sure that it's much more inclusive. That also includes things like ensuring that our members align with our mission, vision, values, and our guiding principles, so that we can feel that our membership is connected with who we are and who we're growing with. And I would say that that's basically, and there's one other piece that I would point to is because you're all members and you pay membership fees, there was a loophole in our prior bylaws that allowed people to potentially be removed as members if they were a part of the sustaining lifelong membership. We've now closed that loophole. We've made sure by removing the annual requirement of paying a fee, the directors now have the ability to waive that annual requirement for lifelong sustaining members. So as a result of that, we think that this is a little bit clearer, even if I haven't explained it to be that way. But yeah, we're content and we've signed off on these. If anyone has any questions about those amendments. All right, here you go, Andrew.
Thank you, Annie. I should point out that Annie joined us as a board member in the middle of the year, and unfortunately she can't continue because she has such a busy existence on other boards, lives, whatever, but we really appreciate that this is one of the tasks that she took on, and it's really going to make our bylaws tight legally and make more sense. So thank you. So if there's no questions about the bylaws, I would like a motion to accept the changes to the bylaws. Paul again, and seconded by Molly. All in favor? All opposed? Abstentions? The motion is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. We're almost done. We were hoping to be done the first hour of things in 1 hour. I'm not sure if that's possible, but we will try not to eat into the social hour and the fun hour and the second hour where we have two great speakers virtually and in person. So we'll try and make it through this as quickly as possible. The last thing is, the second last thing is we have several board members that are leaving at the end of this term, which is pretty much today. And we have a great new slate of board members that we want to recommend to the membership. And to give you an idea of who they are, we're going to have them come up briefly and explain themselves, why you should support them as board members. The current board is so happy with these people stepping forward to join the organization and be a board member, but we're going to let you learn that firsthand. So let's go alphabetically. Let's see who we got here. I've lost my list. Laura, I think you're first.
Sure.
Not alphabetically.
Good evening. I made notes. Hi, everybody. My name is Laura Galvez Daza. I was born in Colombia. My family moved to Canada when I was a child still. I learned to ride a bike at age 10. And then I rode a bike like in commuting fashion for the first time when I lived in Germany while on exchange. And I started commuting by bike here in London since 2018. I first visited Squeaky Wheel Bike Co-op in spring 2021, and that was because I needed some affordable post-winter bike maintenance. I remember that I felt comfortable, and I asked the then manager, Wyatt Pate, whether there were volunteering opportunities, and he said yes, definitely, of course. So that's how this started. As time went on, I volunteered for Volunteer Night, which at the time I think was run on Thursday nights, but now has transitioned to Tuesdays. I also volunteer for WTF Night, which Jensen explained earlier. At some point I was like entrusted with keys to the co-op. I assure you this has been a wise decision. I still have my keys, haven't lost them. At some point, I, with some volunteers and staff members of Squeaky Wheel, started playing bike polo. And there's this thing called Forest City Bike Polo, and it started with people that I know. Let's see, later on, we did a field trip to Hamilton to visit New Hope. I was involved with a feedback survey that went out in February of 2022, which many of you, I think, filled out. Thank you for your feedback. We definitely implemented it. We still have a couch at Squeaky Wheel Bike Co-op now at the new location, thanks to the feedback we got. I participated in Forest City Cycling Challenge. We had a team. It was super fun. It was like the greatest day of 2022 in my books. We had so much fun. Yeah, the last thing I want to say is that I help run Volunteer Night at this point, not because I have great mechanic skills, but because I have people skills, I guess. I am not shy to ask a question or admit when there is a gap of knowledge in my brain, and I'm willing and ready to learn and help this organization as much as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Next up, we have David Isaac.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is David Isaac. Some of you might know me from Twitter. Some of you might know me from cycling events here in the city. I know Annie because we were in the same class in law school together, and she texted me a while back and said, I know you're a cyclist, but you're not on the board. Why? So I agreed with her. I've always admired this organization, and I've participated in lots of the events that London Cycle Link has held or supported over the years. In terms of my sort of cycling journey, I've been a commuter cyclist for 10 or 15 years. I've only really started getting into the advocacy side of things in the last 5 or 6 years, but I'm leaning more and more heavily towards that side of things. In my professional career, I'm a lawyer, personal injury lawyer, and I focus my practice on helping cyclists who are injured. And I'm also a prof at Western, and I'm teaching a course this year called The Law of Urbanism. And I joked that the course is about why bike lanes are awesome and zoning laws are racist. And I'm also on, you'll have to sign up. I'll see if we can do a guest lecture or something. I'm also on the board of Changing Ways here in London and on the policy committee at Museum London. So I have some board experience. Lawyers are sort of a necessary evil for the world and for boards. So I'm happy to play that role for London Cycle Link if you'll have me.
Thank you, David. Next up, we have Andrew Least.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Least. I first came to London in September of 2019, so relatively new to our community here. I see a couple of faces probably know me from Innovation Works, as I worked there for about 2 years. That's where I really got introduced to the cycling community in London. I've always been a cyclist since I was a kid. My first sort of, I guess, experience with cycle commuting was when I was 16, commuting to the local provincial park in Alliston. So that was like a 40-minute bike ride on backcountry roads to get there. So a little different experience than navigating through the city. But from there, got really interested in mountain biking and sport cycling. So when I finally moved to London, instead of commuting from Stratford, I resolved to ride my bike as much as I could. So in part of doing that, I really got interested in what sort of advocacy opportunities are here and getting involved in the community a little bit more. So Daniel Hall and Luis Patricio and Paul Seal all had I guess an osmotic effect on me to get me more involved here. So that started just in August over at the Squeaky Wheel, doing some volunteering there, and really got interested a little bit more to see how else I could help out. My day job is with Tech Alliance of Southwestern Ontario now, so I'm a business advisor there. I help tech companies to start and grow. I'm really excited for different work that we can do with LCO, whether that be advocacy to make it more accessible to people that aren't as comfortable with cycling, reaching out to businesses and seeing what opportunities are there, and then also just on the back end helping with any techie stuff. So if you would have me, I'd love to be a board member here. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. I know that one of our board members has an extremely busy day of events that could not be changed, and she said she was going to be here at some point this evening. Andrea, are you here yet? All right, maybe she'll walk in the door any minute. If not, I'll talk about her. But proceeding down the line, we have Colleen Murphy.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Colleen Murphy. I've lived in London for now 27 years, and I actually started biking less than 10 years ago. So I learned how to bike when I was young, saw a horrible accident, decided I wasn't going to do it anymore, and have come back to it. So I think that's something that I can bring to the board, is that at any point in time you can start doing this again and enjoying it. I've done a lot of advocacy in this community for bike lanes, for transit, for those things. In my day job, I work at Street Level Women at Risk, which is a Housing First program in London. So I'm really passionate about this community, and I think we can bring people together more often. And I think that's what I love about CycleLink, is how much it brings people together. My first introduction to it was actually our friend Becky had us sing at an opening, so of the original, I think, Squeaky Wheel bike shop. So I also sing part-time. So though that's me in a nutshell. I also maybe had too much caffeine today.
Thank you, Colleen. Ajit Rajesh.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ajit Rajesh. I'm from India. I came in 2021 December to London. So I completed 1 year. She passed many years here. I'm just only 1 year. And I came to Fanshawe as an international student. And I connected with Squeaky, I think in April 2021. I came with a mountain bike, and I needed a shorter stem for that bike. It was a big bike for me. So that's how I started in Squeaky. And it was Jensen, he was so friendly, and that's how I got attached to Squeaky so much. And one day I asked him, I liked the place. It was in the old place, not on the Inwell place, Embassy Commons, the other place. So I asked him if I can come other times. So he said, yeah, you can. And I started volunteering there. And soon I fell in love with repairing bikes, and now I am developing my bike repairing skills, and I'm helping people out there. And I have a pretty much flexible schedule with my work, so I have enough time to devote to come there to Squeaky, work there, help people, make new connections. So far it was a good experience for me volunteering at Squeaky. So I could help more people come to Squeaky, get more memberships, help more people, and also I studied communications at Fanshawe. So from that side, I can improve the social media presence of Squeaky, and by that way, I can get more people visiting the place, and also from the business side, I can make Squeaky more profitable. I can get more revenue resources for it and make it a big success. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajit. Brian Shilton.
It is a short mic cord, eh? Yeah, hi, I'm Brian Shilton, and my earliest cycling memory was from when I lived in Belleville. I think I was 5 or 6 years old, and I knocked out all my front teeth on a concrete curb. But I continued, they grew back, the adults. But I continued cycling, and I've cycled, I've been a commuting cyclist pretty much all my life. I lived in different places, some more cycling friendly than others. So Montreal, Aachen, Germany, Uppsala, Sweden, Crete, Greece. And I came to London in 1998. And I've commuted year round to Western where I work. I'm a biochemist there. I teach biochemistry. And I guess my motivation for becoming a board member was I was around 10 years ago when this all started, and Daniel was getting this thing going and getting involved, and other people as well. I didn't become involved then. I just felt too overwhelmed with family and job and stuff, but now I'd really like to get involved and contribute a little bit more to the cycling community in London. I see that it's really improved a lot, the 24 years I've been cycling here. Even we as cyclists, we complain about drivers, but I have to say that I've noticed a big improvement in the way that most drivers treat cyclists in London. There's still a lot of people that are not so good, but I have noticed that there's been a change in the way drivers act, and I think there's a lot of reasons to be positive about going forward. So I'm hoping I can make some contributions to help that happen. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Andrea's still not here? Okay, I'm going to read a little blurb that we have on Andrea. She will be here before the end of tonight. If I don't do a convincing enough job, talk to her at that point. It'll be that too late for voting, but Andrea has been cycling for about 30 years. She's been a writer for 20 years, parenting articles, a fictional novel, and hundreds of blog posts, which taught her a great deal about social and conventional media. She's also started 3 businesses and describes herself as a hard worker who loves spreadsheets, exclamation point. Andrea has long been an advocate and lover of cycling and feels that LCL is a group that can truly change mindsets and equip people to choose bikes more and safely. I think Andrea is currently the National Geographic her family is a contender for some sort of sustainability contest, which is happening at this moment, which is why she's running late. But I don't really have anything else to add. Does anybody? Okay. Anyways, so this is our slate of members. Oh, sorry.
What is Andrea's last name?
Sorry, Andrea Lowen.
Andrea Lowen. Okay, thanks.
So this is our slate of board members that the board has presented. Before we go any further, I do want to point out that we started out with a very different board than we currently have. And I think that's the downside to having so many talented, successful people on your board, is they get pulled in different directions. So at this point, I would like to thank Luis Patricio. He was my predecessor as a chair. Greg Stagert, Brent Charlton, Kevin Van Leerup, Becky Ellis, and Bhushan Sawant. All of you were members of our board, and we appreciated you while you were here, and we're glad that you have, what pulled you away from us was so many other important things you have going on. Thanks again. Andrea has arrived. See, I knew if I talked slowly enough, if you leave that on, it'll help with your presentation, the props. Yes. Let me, we're just in the process of having the new board members explain themselves. And I just read a paragraph about you.
Oh, you did?
Yes, so supplement that, please.
So I'm having a very funny day, because the reason I'm late is the Canadian Geographic magazine ran a Live Net Zero competition. And do you want me to use the mic? I have my gym voice though. Hello. They ran the Live Net Zero competition. I biked fast. And they announced the winners today, and the call was until 7:15. And I just found out that I won the Live Net Zero competition. So, yeah, sorry I'm late. I'm a little distracted. I've been cycling to work and to everything since I was in my mid-20s, before there were bike lanes, and that was a safe thing to do. I really want to help people get out of cars. And so all the things related to that: education, infrastructure, motivation, seeing how it's done. And I feel like I went to my first social event, and I looked around and I said to the person beside me, I think I found my people. So yeah, I have business background, marketing background, and I just, love to do anything cycling related. So are we doing questions or no? Just a quick blurb and off we go?
I was going to say if anybody had any questions for any of the future board members, then now's the time. But since Andrew's got the mic, anything for...
Do you have a question? Sorry, I'm just like, wee, I just won. Yeah. Yes.
Can you tell us more about this competition that you just won?
Okay.
This is your press conference.
Okay. Well, no. So a camera crew showed up into it, like they were at our house, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm going to have to go. Bye. They challenged 5 families across Canada to reduce their carbon emissions in all fronts. So not just transportation, it was home envelope, eating, traveling, and electricity. And so the family who won was the family who made the greatest gains in their reductions, in their carbon reductions. So I actually made my entire family, so we have 2 teenagers, and we have to go to like Amabile up in the north and like dance studio down by White Oaks. And I made us go 2 weeks totally without a car. Like them included. I'm like, guys, if we're going to do this, we're all in. And so they had to like figure out how to do it. So that was a big part of it. But also home envelope, we're getting a totally new HVAC, how to do that, where to get it, where are the grants, all of that. And then we did our starting numbers and then our ending numbers. And then they looked at who were the biggest losers, I guess. Yes. So we just found that out. Like, my heart is pounding. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrea. It occurs to me, I maybe didn't point this out before, but our bylaws require that we have up to 11 board members. The 7 people that have stepped before you today would put us at 11. So we're going to be a big board. We're going to get a whole bunch of stuff done, assuming that we can have them acclaimed to the board today. At this point, I would also like to point out that means that... Oh, sorry.
Are you ready
One more second. Okay. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate your dedication to firsting and seconding and all that stuff. There are 4 of us that are still on the board. That means we have 3 that are leaving the board, and I just want to thank Jen, Annie, and Corinne for your service on the board. You guys have been so important to us. Their terms are up or leaving, and we appreciate everything you've done for us.
And who are the remaining board members?
That's probably a good idea too. There's me. If you could just let yourselves be known, Jack. Thank you. Michael, who you've already met. And who else might? Oh, Janet. Janet is also here today. So the 4 of us and 7 new people, if we can get this, if we can get somebody, please, to suggest a motion. Paul? Paul, so this is a motion to allow the...
Motion to accept the new 7 new board members.
Thank you. Thank you. Seconder, Laura, sorry.
Tom got it.
Tom, okay. All in favor? All opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. We have a new board for 2023. Motion carried. Okay, the last thing we're going to do before we break for a few minutes. Are we going to break for a few minutes? Yeah. We're going to do this, and then we're going to break for a few minutes, and we're going to come back for a couple of awesome presentations. I've lost my thing here. We've already talked a lot about 2022. Now Molly's going to talk about 2023.
All right, maybe I have the strength to stand for a minute. We'll see. Congratulations. I'm so excited about all you guys joining our board. It's going to be a fun year. I'll just be brief about the year ahead. So I'm just going to mention the goals that we have going forward in some different areas. The advocacy goals are the same as they were for the municipal election. So we'll be focusing on these 4 things: municipally, infrastructure, meeting a connected grid of safe, separated bike lanes reaching all neighborhoods, maintenance, all-season maintenance of bike lanes, paths, and roadsides, parking, increased safe, secure bike parking in all commercial areas, and bike share. We would really like to see a citywide bike share program really soon, like this year. Organizationally, we've started work on a new strategic plan, which will be coming out this year. So that's a big deal, as well as policies, systems integration, which is boring but so important and exciting to me. Looking at you, Andrew, and bringing on our new board members. Community-wise, making Bike Month bigger and better, continuing to partner with many other terrific organizations, and getting more people cycling safer and more often. Our membership goals include, the big one is relaunching the Bike Friendly Business Program, as well as continuing to support and engage our individual members and bring them into the fold. Educational goals. In April, we'll be training our 2nd group of instructors for the Ride to Thrive program. If anyone is interested, talk to Jen later, because we still have spaces open. There's also the other instructors you can talk to about that. But we have so much interest and demand for this program, and just a small group of instructors. So for us to grow, we need to grow our team as well. So yeah, and in that case, just keeping up, being able to catch the balls that keep coming our way in terms of the significant interest in cycling education. For the co-op, continuing to make our new space at the Embassy Commons our own, increasing volunteer participation and agency, increasing hours, visibility and sales, and a big fundraising launch party that you are all invited to. So we've been hoping to have that. We've been waiting for the Edgar and Joe's Cafe to open in the building in order to have our party there. So as soon as they get in, we're going to plan a big party. So So yeah, that's it. My goal as executive director is to continue to steer this ship. I've said to our volunteers that I am eager to serve the community. I've been charged with leading it. Finding the balance can be challenging, and I need help. So I plan to call on all of you to help in ways that you can to build this city and the cycling community. Let's see how far we can get.
Thank you, Molly. So when we come back from the break, we are going to. Are we calling them the Because? Yeah. We're going to award some BICA awards. The bicycle awards. We're going to have a video interview. Thank you to Jack and Ben for taking care of that with Melissa and Chris Bruntlett. And we're also going to have Daniel Hall coming to the front to speak with about what's happening in London for cyclists. Sure. Councillor Cuddy would like to have a few words before we go to break.
Thank you. And I apologize for the interruption, but I have to go back to the function where I just left the mayor, and he's expecting me to come back again. But thank you all for inviting me. Thank you, Laura and Ben, for telling me about CycleLink. I didn't know anything about your group, unfortunately, until I became a candidate for Ward 3, and I think I became even more enamored with your group after we chatted in our cycle and speaking with some of the other councillors. And I'm bringing greetings tonight from the mayor. Again, I have to leave to go back to a function at Huron College where he is right now. But I'm bringing great greetings from the mayor. He appreciates all of the effort that you're doing. You were speaking last night, were you? Who was speaking last night? You were. Thank you. Good presentation. And we are committed to cyclists in London. We are committed to active transit. It will take us a little while to get there, but please be patient. I'm a member of your organization. I will be there for you. You know how to get a hold of me, and I look forward to being involved in some of your events in the future. So thank you very much, and again, my apologies for interrupting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peter Cuddy. We have a lot of delicious food and drink waiting for us in the next room. Please go for 5 or 10 minutes and we'll come back here. Thank you.